And it's so great to see you here. You have been in this place before, you know the Institute. It was probably one of the Cold War institutions that survived the Cold War. It was created after the martial law in Poland by independent Polish intellectual who started it. Where do you see in general the role of public intellectuals for a conversation which is so much shaped by short videos, by social media, by basically people much more shouting than arguing?
So I think there's always a role, maybe especially in this international conversation, for people who take time to listen to others. In other words, who give the half an hour or the 45 minutes or the hour and a half even to listen to something nuanced. I'm also in the business of boiling things down and trying to make short versions of what I say. But there's always a first draft, and the first draft is always longer. And so institutions that can make the time and space for people to think through the problem before they reduce it to an Instagram video, I think are going to be crucial for a long time. There's always something behind the political slogans and arguments that we hear. And there has to be a space where people prepare that thinking.
Yeah, this is great because we're inviting people, young academics also, and we are strongly pushing them to enter the public conversation. And from time to time, I had the feeling that it is a high cost. Basically, the moment you enter public conversation, when you're not simply a good academic who is doing your work, but when you're taking positions, when you're agreeing or disagreeing, it have a high cost for people to believe that in a certain way we're doing disservice of them, basically telling, leave your peaceful academic life and try to get and influence societies?
Well, I mean, what's the point of accumulating knowledge and coming to conclusions and having insights if you aren't able to share it? I mean, I actually think that, I agree with you, there's a fine line. During the years you're spending in archives, you don't want to be reporting to the public what each of your findings is. But once you have something to say, I think it's really important, actually, that people find a way to say it. And there's even a danger now that, universities and other academic institutions that aren't set up to participate in public life risk being cut off and becoming irrelevant. So I would also say that, of course, it's easier for people to engage in public life if they are inside a structure. Yeah. So having an institution behind you, having colleagues, having people who can help you if something goes wrong or if you give you advice. This is part of being able to engage in a public conversation is that. And, politicians have it automatically because they have a political party or they have a government or they have press spokesmen. And other people who have important knowledge that should be shared don't necessarily have that whole structure. So you want something to help them.
How much the fact that you're an American, you also have European, you're spending time here, you know European politics probably better than anybody. How the fact that you know too much about both sides of the Atlantic helps you or hurts you, particularly when it basically comes to your right for transatlantic relations?
So I do speak a little differently to different audiences. I will spend more time explaining European nuances to Americans and vice versa. So I think a lot about who's listening. So the speech I will give here is not one I would necessarily make in America. But most of the time, I find the contrast useful. So I learn things from listening to the different arguments. There's a kind of transatlantic conversation that's happening in America and Washington. There's another one that's happening here in European capitals. And being able to listen to both at the same time is often revealing.
And my last question is, now you're going to speak in one of the symbolic places in Vienna, the Judenplatz. What is the square in the world that you want to give a lecture?
Red Square.
Red Square. This was what I expected. But what is the lecture that you want to give?
It would be about Russian history. I spent 20 years writing books about Soviet history, about the history of the Gulag, about the history of the Ukrainian famine, and I'd love to talk to Russians about it.
It's great. I'm sure that they're going to be interested to listen.
Thank you.